Poke. Hey, Anthony, so good to see you. We're in a hotel together.
We're in a hotel room together?
Yes.
Don't tell nobody.
It's about to get very exciting around these parts. Stick around.
I'm Anthony. Welcome to No Vacancy Live. That's my friend Glenn.
You're watching the #1 show in hospitality.
Hey, everybody. Glenn Hausman here, coming at you from Resorts World in New York City at Aqueduct Racetrack in Queens. JFK is just over there. Anthony, so great to see you, man.
It's literally like 2 minutes away. This place is 9 minutes from my house. So yep. If they start doing poker tables, I'm going to be here every day.
Yeah, so that's going to be pretty dangerous. So if you want to see Anthony descend into poker madness, help them get some poker over here. But Anthony, I remember when this place opened, I think it's about 10 years ago now, which is pretty exciting. I was living in Kensington in Brooklyn. I was so excited. I drove over here. I saw the whole place, and then I was really super excited because they had a Popeyes fried chicken. So it made my day.
Well, you know, to have a casino in New York is a big deal.
It is.
And now we have a hotel next to the casino, which I don't think we have anywhere in New York City.
No, we do not. This is the only casino within New York City's borders, the brand new hotel, Hyatt Regency. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But Anthony, I'm excited to say that in February, I'm going to be appearing with Sean Worker, who I wrote the book, The Adapters, with. We're going to help teach the folks at the Radisson Hotels America all about adapting and innovating. And one of the best ways for you all to get there is if you're doing an investment, hey, why not consider Radisson? They've got great brands like Country Inn and Suites, Radisson Red, which we featured on this show before. Contact Phil Hugh over there, their Chief Development Officer. Give them a shot. What do you think about that, Anthony?
Absolutely. And maybe you can do a class on how to market your adapters book, because you never talk about it on our show.
Yeah, right. For sure. All right. So it looks like we're not recording. It looks like we're actually live. So we're early today, everybody. So yeah, I screwed that up. But what are you going to do? No big deal. Our big plan here, everybody, was to record this at 10 because of scheduling issues and run it at 12. But we got people from Colombia watching, so it makes my day over here.
So I love the fact that our producer, unfortunately, our producer can't be with us today because she's dealing with a family emergency. Mm-hmm. But one day of not having our producer and we completely screwed up. How do you screw up going from tape to live? Explain that to me, Glenn. Here on live.
I hit the edit button and I said, I hit the record only button, and then I must not have hit the save button to do that. Okay. But the good news is, we're live. I'll rerun this at 12 for everybody as well, so no worries about that. I'm excited today because we are going to be speaking with Darlene Monzo, Chief Marketing Officer at Genting Americas. But before we bring her on in 1 second, I want to thank our good friend Marizella Alfaro for putting this all together. She's really been our key to helping with everything Resorts World. We got to do the Catskills show because of her. We get to be here because of her. We got to go to the Las Vegas property because of her. And she's really taking care of it.
If you're in Vegas, go to the Resorts World property. It is absolutely fantastic.
And now, a great segue, someone who does not work with the Resorts World in Vegas, but all the others on the East Coast. We got Darlene Monzo, Chief Marketing Officer with Genting Americas. And of course, Genting is the parent company out of Malaysia that runs this property. Darlene, great to see you.
Thank you. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
So excited to have you here with us today. So, Darlene,
watch this. Since we're in the same room,
Sure.
Yep.
Absolutely. I'll slide right in.
So this is like really funny and really weird that when we're all together, it still feels like we're not together. And the next iteration of our show, Anthony, I've got to do it so we could all be together and all of that kind of stuff and be in the same thing. Because she's like right there, but we're both facing the same direction, which is a little weird, which is a little bizarre. But Darlene, it's so great to see you. How much fun is it to be working here in Queens 10 years after the resort opened with a brand new hotel now to really be able to sink your teeth into and create a whole full-fledged resort kind of atmosphere over here?
Absolutely awesome. Definitely like my favorite place to work and play. It's just been amazing. I've been in this business for 30 years. Couldn't be happier.
There's no way you've been in this business 30 years.
Yeah, really. I have. I started out in Atlantic City, but now happy to be in New York. It's awesome.
You were in Atlantic City 30 years ago?
Yeah, I started in Atlantic City on the boardwalk in the early 80s.
Did you ever work with a gentleman named Barry Cregan?
Yes.
Okay. We won't talk about Barry Cregan on the show.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the icons.
I worked with him at the Plaza Hotel.
Great
See, Glenn, every
organization.
time somebody's on the show, I always know somebody that knows somebody. Isn't that amazing?
It is really amazing,
'Cause I'm old.
particularly when we're in the New York City area. It has been a cavalcade of people coming in here as we were setting up, and you being like, "Do you know so and so?" And they're like, "Absolutely."
Yeah, you're being kind because we mentioned one person off air that that we, me and the gentleman we were talking to, both don't like the guy.
Well, I wasn't being kind as much as just leaving that part out. You know, you don't really have to get into it. But
so like when you say, Glenn, you say it must be exciting working here in Queens, right? You never think of Queens casinos and hotels as being excited, but it is because you're at Aqueduct, you're right near Kennedy Airport. So what has it been like? What has the experience been like to open really the first hotel casino in New York City?
So I think, Genting is just in growth mode, right? And I think synergy has been the biggest thing. But for here at Resorts World in New York, our growth has really come from the high end because in the past it was mostly slots and the high end customers demand more amenities. So the fact that we now have the hotel and Sugar Factory and all those great things, it's really a transformation. I mean, if you haven't been here in the last couple of months, you really haven't been here.
I feel like you guys did a whole scale renovation on the casino floor as well. That's what I suspect. It feels very different than the last time I was here.
Yeah, I mean, the entrance, the Grand Concourse, when you come in, the feel of the Hyatt brand, and it's such a high, elegant brand. It just completely transforms it. I mean, it's very whimsical. It's very fun. We're definitely having synergies with our Resorts World Las Vegas property. And the brand can bring you, if you want to go, on a cruise, and if you want to do all these things, which wasn't really necessarily the place. The Genting properties sort of were individual, and now everything is coming together.
And what's amazing is if you're coming to New York City for a week, and whether you're on business or in pleasure, you get off Kennedy Airport, you're here in 2 minutes. You can go into the city. You can go to Rockaway. You can take the ferry into the city from Rockaway. It's an amazing location. It really is. But as the chief marketing officer, how do you share that? Because it's really, a lot of people don't realize it's here, even in my own backyard. You and I live in the same neighborhood, and I guarantee you everybody in our neighborhood has no idea that this even exists.
Yeah, I mean, tapping into the New York market is not easy. I'll be honest.
Right.
Everything has moved to digital. Digital platform is definitely our new reach. We do a lot less traditional marketing than you would see. I mean, people put up a billboard in the Midwest and people see it. You put a billboard up in New York City and, it disappears, right? So we've moved to a very targeted on mobile, all kinds of digital, whether it's, whether you're driving and you get a pop-up on Waze, or, you're doing things on Hulu with OTT.
Right.
We're doing some very direct marketing now.
It's amazing because when you started in Jersey 30 years ago, the billboards going into Atlantic City was probably a big attraction, because if you're staying at one hotel, but you have somebody playing at your hotel, or you have a new game, or you have something to incentivize people, that billboard makes sense.
Absolutely. I mean, everyone read the billboards going down the Atlantic City Expressway, right?
Right.
Or on the Walt Whitman Bridge coming from Philadelphia. I mean, sure, we have a few boards by, George Washington and on the Cuomo Bridge and things like that. But for the most part, it's very personalized marketing now. And the high-end player expects that anyway.
Right.
They expect someone to call them. We've definitely increased our player development area. We've done all the right things, and now we have the right amenities to attract those higher end players.
And how does that work, since you're right near the airport? Are you able to get people to fly into your resort because you're right next to the airport? Does that help?
Yes. I mean, the airport traffic isn't quite back in business as everyone kind of knows. But we are expecting that when more flights return, I mean, literally you can get off the plane and be playing at a slot machine in 10 minutes.
But how about your private players? I mean, do you have private players flying in?
Absolutely. So we have private jets, not only here, but also at our sister property, Catskills. So just up north a little bit.
Right.
It's very, very high end there. And we have charters that come right into the local airport there.
And check our show from there last February. I don't remember the date. I remember the snow, though.
But you remember the month.
I do.
I don't remember the year or the decade.
To be fair, the last couple of years have been pretty bizarre. So I will say, not only do you have the Catskills, but you have Bimini, right?
Yes.
So that's pretty cool. It gives you a variety of properties to be able to market. And I think, I'm not a chief marketing officer, so I don't know, but having different properties that give you different varieties not only help you reach out to different groups of people, but for that high-end player, it gives them different opportunities when they're on the East Coast, excluding the Resorts World that just opened in Vegas on June 23rd. It gives them a lot of opportunities to spend more time with you in different locations.
Absolutely. I mean, Genting is now at the forefront. And, 10 years ago, we were new into the US market. I mean, obviously, we have huge properties in Malaysia and Singapore and, some of the largest properties in the world, new to the US. But now the bigger brands would be able to offer, if you were in Atlantic City, or then you went to Las Vegas, or you went to the Midwest, and now we can do that. So if you want to travel by plane, train, automobile, ship, you can do that with Genting, and we're all coming together. That's why it was so cool to have, we have a shared services where from here in New York, we do the marketing for Bimini. We do the marketing for Catskills.
Right.
And we marry the brands for Las Vegas. So we have the Stay Fabulous campaign. It's very whimsical. It's very fun. It's very exciting. And I love working on that.
Now, do you have a concert hall here or no?
We do not have a concert hall here.
Are you building one?
There is, there was some discussion, but I guess I'll announce it on your show. We've decided not to do that because the UBS Arena, we have a partnership with them. They're only 20 miles from here. It's where the Islanders play. And they're slated to have about 200 concerts this year. They open in November. So literally, that's going to be our showroom.
That makes sense. And I guess you could get the players back and forth.
Yeah. And it's not that far from here, right?
No.
So folks that don't understand how all this works, we are at Aqueduct Racetrack in New York City. New York has three predominant racetracks: Aqueduct, Belmont, both in Queens, and then in Saratoga they have a racetrack as well that's typically only used in August, although I think they start expanding that season because they realize it can make all that summer money over there. But you just recently built the UBS Arena, which is opening, not you as in Genting, but the city and all. I'm very excited to go see my first concert there in December. That's going to be pretty cool. It'll be fun to have a new arena. Plus, I love that the Islanders are coming home to Long Island, or at least on the Nassau-Queens border. So that'll be fun.
And I may or may not have someone, part of my family, working there starting in a couple of weeks. And I was reading some history of it because of that. And they built it to look like Grand Central Station. Did you know that?
Oh, that's pretty cool.
The insides look like Grand Central Station. So I'm excited about that.
I would love to have both of you come join us in our suite. We're really front row. It's awesome. It's
Oh.
the best suite in the place.
No, I'm sorry, I can't do it.
Please come.
You gave Glenn your business card, but you didn't give me your business card.
I got it right here.
He has my personal cell. You can call me. Hooking him up.
Well, I know where you live, so I'm just going to go knock on your door.
Yeah, but why does the number say 555-1212? That seems suspicious. I don't know. So that's really cool that you have these multiple properties that you're able to work with here on the East Coast. Also partner with your brethren over there in the Las Vegas market, should it be necessary. But how is the gaming market really developing here on the East Coast now that Genting is such a player? You have the opportunity to pull people away from those mega resorts up in Connecticut, from what's happening down in Atlantic City, from the continually growing market in Pennsylvania. How are you all fitting in? What's the plan?
And is it true that this is the highest grossing casino on the East Coast?
Right. What I said was that the slot machines pre-COVID were known as having the highest, pulls throughout the day. Is that still true?
Yes. We are doing very, very well. We're blessed to be in a great market. We have very loyal customers, and now we've got a lot of our new business is really growing tremendously. And it's because of the reinvestment that we've made in Queens, having the hotel, having the new restaurants. And I think I mentioned Sugar Factory has been a great brand and a great draw for us.
And people that don't know Sugar Factory, can you explain Sugar Factory a little bit?
Sure. It's, it's like an adult candy shop, restaurant, combo nightclub. It's just awesome. It's where a lot of celebrities come and hang out. You can get bowl drinks that have gummy bears at the bottom. It's really super fun. They have a great menu, some healthy choices too, great salads, things like that.
I didn't notice the healthy choices, but my eyes
hard.
automatically block that part of the menu out.
Yeah, it's hard to pass up, the 2-foot tall milkshake or, the Oreo Crush cookie drinks.
Darlene,
awesome.
I had the milkshake last night.
Did you? It was fabulous.
I couldn't help it. I honestly, I checked the menu before I left the house and I was debating what I was going to have. And I'm like, you're not going to do it, Glenn. You're not going to do it. I went ahead and did it.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I had McDonald's on the way back from my daughter's volleyball game. I was like, it's late. I traveled 4 hours for a half-hour volleyball game.
Yeah.
I deserve a Big Mac.
Yeah, you really do. And I had the chicken and waffles last night over at Sugar Factory. 4 pieces of chicken, a whole half a chicken on top of a vanilla bean waffle.
And a shake.
And a shake.
It's
Yeah.
all about experience, right? And we're coming here for an escape. It should be,
Yep.
you should go big or go home, right? Come
Right.
here, be fabulous, stay fabulous. That's all the campaign. That's what we're trying to.
Speaking of go big or go home, you guys made a great partnership with Hyatt, but not just like a Hyatt Place or Hyatt Centric, but Hyatt Regency, the luxury version of the hotel. And Anthony, what's really interesting is I hadn't really thought about it, but there was no real luxury hotel of note in the JFK market, and then to combine it with the casino is pretty awesome opportunity.
Yeah, and when you think about JFK Airport hotels, you think about not staying there,
right?
So now you have you, and it's good because you have some competition because there's some other brands opening up right near JFK. You have the Rockaway Hotel that's a few minutes away. So I think it helps keep everybody out of the city and saying, you know what, there's some options. There's some good food options. There's some good casino options. So I think it helps. I think the competition really actually helps your brand. My question for you is to really get that big player, I would imagine you need some table games. Now, most of yours is electronics, right? You have any table games at all?
No live table games in New York yet.
Right. So how long do you think that would be? And I'm not asking for myself.
No, I mean, we're certainly hopeful that 2023, which was the original plan, that we would have full service legalized live table games down here in the city. Now we do have it at Catskills. Catskills has full table games, craps, blackjack, baccarat, all those games.
So you think it'll
right
be
there.
2023?
For the New York City, we're hopeful that they will pass it. I think would be very good for the state. I mean, this property alone for the state of New York has contributed over $3 billion, not million, but $3 billion to the state school fund, the educational fund. So I think, to have players play here in New York where their tax dollars matter and continue to give back to this state versus driving to adjacent states, Connecticut, New York, or New Jersey, would be very beneficial for the state of New York.
The one that I go to play, I won't say the name of it, but there's one an hour and 43 minutes away that just opened up recently, and I have to travel an hour and 43 minutes to get there. So 9 minutes is a lot better. And I would imagine that if you do get table games, this will be the busiest casino on the East Coast by far.
Absolutely. I mean, everyone wants to work here,
so,
which is awesome.
Well, that's interesting because I'm sorry, but that's interesting because I asked one of your team members. So has it been hard to find employees? Expecting her to say yes. And I was doing something when I asked the question, and she said, no, it's been quite easy. And I'm like, what? And like, yeah, everybody wants to work here.
They do. It is an awesome place to work, especially with Hyatt brand. They come with a great culture. And I think that we're looking to spread that throughout the property. Everyone's super friendly and enjoys being here. I mean, it's beautiful. You come to work, it's clean, it's elegant. It's just a lot happening.
And you feel like you're not in New York City. You feel completely kind of like, that's why I love living where I live, because you feel like you're only 40 minutes from the city, but you're a world away.
Sure. Parking is free here. Where can you go in New York and stay at a hotel? I mean, the parking is $40 to $60 a night. It's absolutely free.
I don't mean to correct you, but I was just on 57th and 6th Avenue, and I paid $72 to go have pizza. Okay. I had lunch. I said, I'm by myself. I'm in the city. I said, let me go. I hear about this famous pizza place. Let me go to this pizza place. It was okay. And I came back and he said $72. I said, I don't want to buy a car. I just want to buy. And listen, I'm a New Yorker, so I'm used to paying $40, $50. $72 to park my car for an hour and a half.
free to park here at JFK at Resorts World New York City. Also, the longest name in hotel history, I think.
The longest what?
Name. I think we have the longest name. So our hotel is literally Hyatt Regency JFK at Resorts World New York City.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's easy.
We needed to get it all in there.
I know. No wonder why your business cards are like 5 feet wide. I totally get that now. I did want to make one point before we totally move on about the electronic table games and stuff like that. They operate very much in the same way as you know, as regular games. There's even on some of them, it felt like someone was standing and watching the machines go. So you have like a real like roulette wheel, but then everybody could tap in electronically to do that. So if you're looking for that table game experience, it's very close to being like that. It's just a little different because everybody's got to play by the silly rules and the semantics.
And it certainly feels like a casino with table games. It feels you have that energy. Absolutely.
Yes, it's really fun. And you know what's really nice about electronic table games is it's not intimidating. You know, like when you first, especially for the younger crowd who was very, into playing virtual games anyway, it's becoming more and more popular. And I can promise you that even when live table games come to New York City, we will maintain the electronic table games. They're that popular. It's easy to learn. People help each other stand. It's like a big stadium of inside roulette wheels and dice rolling around, but you can't make a mistake.
And a lot of time, it's a lot less expensive per bet to play. The minimums are lower.
Yeah, and I wonder, will it be kind of trendy since there's such an employment issue in the country? Not here, apparently, but in the country, there seems, we can't find good people. So we can't find people, bad or good people. Do you think it'll be a trend where casinos are opening with less and less people and more electronic games?
I mean, possibly. I mean, technology is just, going great. I mean, we talk about mobile sports betting and things like that. Like everything is happening a little bit more electronic. I mean, I do think that live dealers and tables will always be a thing for camaraderie and the experience of just playing, the excitement, the adrenaline of being at a live game. But I do think that more and more electronic type games will come into play. And I think you'll see different styles of those.
And sports betting is legal now in New York, right?
Well, we are working on sports betting. They're accepting bids right now. We have submitted our bid. We'd very much like to be in the mobile sports betting arena.
Oh, that's right. The former governor wanted to have it controlled by the state, but now is that changing? Where
it'll still be operated and regulated by the state with the gaming commissions overseeing that as well. It just will not be necessarily operated by the lottery.
Oh, okay. Understood. Right. So when's that going to happen?
We're hoping to hear by the end of the year.
By the end, that'll be a game changer, right?
I think it'll be awesome because, again, you want New York State to do well, and people are placing sports betting, only they're doing it either through their local bookie or they're doing it in another state.
And you can just take a bridge to just go right over to that other state.
Wait, you're not going to put my Uncle Johnny out of business, are you?
Sorry, Uncle Johnny.
That's
Sorry,
right.
Uncle Johnny.
He's going to get a job over here anyway.
You know what's so funny? I was on the Upper West Side at the Lucerne Hotel, and when I had hair, I used to get a haircut up there. And I go to this brownstone, I go downstairs, and there's this older woman. And I'm not saying older like 50. I'm talking like in her 80s. And apparently she would run the numbers. And she would take everybody's bet. And I'm sitting there, and she would come over with her Spanish. I didn't speak Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. And she'd come over and try to speak to me in Spanish to take my bet. I was like, I don't bet. I don't know how to bet. But it was like, so you're gonna put that little old lady out of business? Okay.
Sorry, we do have sports betting up at Catskills right at the property, so you can place it on a kiosk or at the window. It's just you can't do it on your mobile phone if you're not at the property.
Now, will you have a location here on property for sports betting, a whole sports betting location, or?
Yes.
Excellent.
Is that being built, or is that built already?
It will be, we'll take 360 and transfer that into Resorts World Bet.
And that is a bar that's kind of like the Center Casino bar that's here. And I believe live bands play there on the weekends as well.
Thank you for that.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, my pleasure. It's fun. And the good news is I got to stay here last night because I really like to explore these environments. And I was shocked by how large this place really is. Last time I was here, I realized it was big, but even when you're looking at the Las Vegas casinos, the square footage here is insane. I think you have something like 6,500 gaming machines, which is unbelievable.
Yes, that's the most in any other property.
Wow.
Mhm.
Yeah, right. I mean, and there's some giant resorts up in Connecticut, and this just seems like there's so many more machines here, which is absolutely incredible.
All your favorite games are right here in New York City. No need to go anywhere else.
So with all the customers changing these days, you've got your high roller gamblers that you have here with the that you're going to want to have here stay at the Hyatt Regency. You've got your younger people that are more video focused. How do you really parse through all the messaging that you're going to give to all of these different communities to make sure that they come here, the Catskills, and down into Bimini?
Great question. Absolutely great question. So we spend a lot of time in database marketing, and we have a lot of different formats in which we communicate. So we do in language, we do Chinese, we have some Spanish mailers as well that we're working on, and we segregate by table games players or slot players by property. And then we also combine all the mailers. So if, say, you're a player in New York City, in your mailer, there will be offers for Resorts World Las Vegas, Resorts World Bimini, Resorts World Catskills. We'll mention our Crystal Cruise Lines, which a lot of folks don't know is owned by Genting, but high-level cruises.
Right.
So all that is in one mailer, and then we put it in multiple languages.
That's why you have the Crystal Cruises High Roller Lounge.
Exactly.
I didn't even know you guys own that.
And we have a huge Asian population here. About 40% of our play is Asian. Obviously,
Not surprising, particularly in Queens, which has a higher Asian population than other boroughs, I believe.
Absolutely. So many of our high-end players, we have a high-end Bach room, which is unusual too, where we cater to them. So it's really a large variety of multi-language. We talk to them via direct mail, plus text messaging. SMS is really big right now, and getting them to respond to last minute things. So it's been going really great.
So mailers work? Mailers still work?
They do. We do a lot through e-blasts, a lot through SMS now, but there are some folks that just love to get their mailers, put their calendars on their refrigerators. They know what promotions are coming up next. You know, we've got the big car giveaway coming up for our anniversary on the 28th. We're giving away convertible BMW. It's red for the brand.
Oh, so that's why the car's out there. I just thought someone got a really good parking space.
I can invite you guys in to come win that car too, you know.
But you know what's interesting? Since Broadway is open, I've been getting a lot of mailers to my home, and like really expensive ones, like really high-end expensive mailers. I was really surprised by that. It seems like every show that's opening, they're sending these really attractive mailers. It's actually working. We're putting them on the refrigerator and say, all right, we got to see that play. So apparently it still works.
Makes sense sending really attractive mailers to a very attractive mail. I get it.
And sometimes you get mailers with candy on them. We're doing a sweet giveaway, and we're including some of the Sugar Factory candy in the mailers. So
that sounds
you definitely want to be on our mailing list.
I will tell you, you know, Anthony, speaking of the Sugar Factory, I had dinner last night there, as I had mentioned. On a Tuesday evening, I was really surprised by how many people were there and celebrating special occasions. So it sounds to me like, sure, the casino is a draw, sure, the hotel is a draw, but the restaurant itself is pulling people in from the community around.
Yeah, now that I know it's here, I will absolutely show up. But I want to ask you a question, because one of the things that we talk about on the show a lot is trying to get people into this business. When people look at this business, they don't look at it as a real career. You've obviously built yourself quite a career in this industry. How did you get into the industry, and when did you realize that, hey, this can be a pretty good career?
I love that question. I started out as a bus greeter, jumping on the buses and handing out the packages.
Oh my God.
Atlantic
So
City.
and this is when you would get the coupons, you'd go down on the bus and you'd get like the free buffet and a $10 roll of quarters, and the woman or man would come on the bus and give those all to you, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, it was all the New Yorkers coming to Atlantic City. And what I really wanted to be was a wedding planner. That was like, I wanted to be a rock star. I can't sing.
That's what my daughter wants to be, a wedding planner.
And so I learned that they were doing, one of the casinos was doing golf tournaments, and they were organizing them. And I thought, oh, that's pretty close to planning. Yep. So I wanted to work in special events. And then I ran into, you know, stayed in marketing and did airplane junkets out of New York still. I just have grown in the business. I've worked in almost every department, but marketing is my heart. I've actually ran a couple properties, but I love the marketing.
So you've been a general manager?
Yes.
What
Yes.
properties, may I
Yeah.
ask?
So I was at Parks in
In
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. Oh,
ran
Anthony,
that-
you've
ran that
been
property.
there.
That was the
Yeah.
hotel I was not mentioning, or the
Right.
casino I was not mentioning. So you were the general manager of Parks?
Yes. So
Wow.
we opened up Philadelphia Park and then transformed that into Parks Casino.
Mhm.
At that point, my CEO had left, so I filled that role. And but I've loved the CMO role. I've done it at several other properties. This is by far my favorite because Genting is just in such growth mode and so technical savvy, and they partner with great brands like Hyatt. So I really couldn't be happier.
And how has it changed learning? Let me back up. Back in the day when everything went to yield management, revenue management, when we were at first in this industry, can you take me off the individual? I hate this so thank you. I want to look at her when I'm talking to her. I hate that. You know I hate that. But
I know, but I told you we got.
You wanna be more dynamic.
I want to be more dynamic with the
yeah,
show.
I want to be less dynamic.
How about we do this? You talk and I'll just do this.
So one of the things, when you can remember when we went from, your sales manager and reservation agents, and the reservations used to report into sales, and now we had a revenue management, and we talked about yield management, and then how the sales managers had to learn about yield management and revenue management, and a lot of them didn't, and they were left behind, unfortunately, especially after the crash of 2008. They were left behind because they didn't understand revenue management. How do you get acclimated to all this tech and knowing how to market in a technical world, in a digital world? Like, has that been a big game changer for you, or has it been just something seamless because you kind of just, you grew up in, non-digital, but now that it's digital, was it seamless for you, or was it difficult?
No, I really enjoy it. So I gravitate to the analytic side. The database marketing really drives the business. It's about reinvestment, giving the right offer to the right guest at the right time, and really learning how to reach all the different level players. Sometimes people make mistakes and they just go real big at the high end and then they forget that mid-level bread and butter.
Right.
80%, it's the 80-20 rule. 80% of our business is driven by 20% of the guest. But I think what Genting has done has been smart, and Vegas definitely opened up this way. Is the old story was you can't be everything to everyone. And that's just a fallacy. You can be everything to everyone. You just have to have the mass to do that.
Yeah,
right?
Vegas has proven that.
Exactly. And I think, here in New York City, we are definitely becoming that way.
Right.
10 years, we weren't. We were a place where you could grab lunch, maybe have a nice steak, and play slots and electronic table games. Now you can do so much more. I mean, I stayed at the hotel last night, and I got up this morning. I went down real quick to Club Regency and had a great high-end breakfast. You couldn't do that 3 months ago.
Yeah, no. And thank you for having the Regency Club, because I got to have a couple of nice glasses of wine last night and some appetizers and stuff like that before I went to dinner. So it was absolutely perfect. I love the feeling of being special there.
So why do you look like you just came into this business yesterday? Like, you still have an excitement for it. You still have that big smile. You're still motivated. You can see you're legitimately excited about your job. How has that stayed for 30 years?
Working with the right team and having the right boss. When I took this job, I took it because I wanted to work for Bob Salvio, a great guy. I've had some really great bosses throughout my career who I've learned, different styles. Some were really, really like in the numbers. Some were really in the keeping the place clean in the operation.
Right.
So he was someone that I wanted to work for and with. He treats me like I'm his partner, and my team. Definitely have a loyal team. We work really hard, but we have fun. I think the culture of, we are the they, and, love your guest and be great community partners. It just has a lot of variety. I think earlier today you had said, hey, I get up, I do this, I love this, I do it, and I enjoy it. If you can get paid to do something that you really enjoy, like, then you've, I think.
Yeah, and I would imagine as a kid, you were a kid in school that you were probably pretty smart, but you probably had a lot of energy. And this industry, you have to be smart, but you have to have a lot of energy. And all of my idiosyncrasies really work well in this career field, because I just bounce off the walls all day long.
Yeah, having a lot of energy. I mean, we definitely are type A personalities, right? A little bit of ADD.
A little bit,
but it's
there's no one in this industry. I said it the other day, and I kind of meant it.
Right.
Everybody in this industry that's been in this industry a long time, if they don't have ADD, I'd be shocked.
yeah.
In OCD.
And I have a really great husband. He's so supportive. He has moved all over the country with me, and he puts up with me traveling on airplanes and being not home a whole lot. Maybe that's what makes for a great marriage. I don't know. But he's been really great. My kids have grown up and been very independent. So that's been very, very helpful for me in my career.
That's pretty cool. So what is the moment that you said, you know what? I love marketing. That's the discipline I'm going to focus on for the rest of my career.
I think, I think the wedding planning thing was marketing.
Right.
I think it's creative, and creating great experiences for people is what makes me happy. I'm always the one that does all the events for my family and plans, the holidays. And I think it's just kind of what makes me, I'm passionate about it. It's just fun. And when you have a team I have a really young team that always wants to try new things. And that's very, very cool.
Have you seen, what's the difference between a kid coming into this industry today and 30 years ago?
Oh, mention millennials. You want to go there?
No, let's go. Let's skip the millennials. I hate them. Let's skip to Gen Z. I hate them, not because of them, but because they get all the attention and us Gen Xers are ignored. But so whatever, just go ahead with that.
Yeah, I think, they want to move real fast, and they want to get promoted very, very quickly. I think what I've kind of tried to do is select the people that really want to put in the work. I like to be a mentor. So at any time I've got, a dozen up and comings that want a lot of attention, and I'm willing to do it if they're willing to put in the work. So,
have you had to have a lot of conversations, like closing the door and saying, listen, you're really talented, but you got to calm the F down. You got to shut up, sit there, put the time in, and you're going to be really successful in this industry, but you got to take a chill.
There's been quite a few that had a lot of headroom that didn't make it because they just couldn't be nice to other people.
They couldn't what?
They couldn't be nice. There's really, really smart, but you have to have a well balance of being a good, kind person and being smart.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of room on my team if you can't be smart and be kind.
Yeah. And people say it all the time, right? If you're a doctor, you're in the hotel business, people want to be around nice people. People get hired if they're really nice and kind and smart. Not so much for your skill set, but if you have an open mind and because the last thing we want to do is, go get a cup of coffee and you go to the coffee maker and the person next to you is somebody you don't want to talk to.
Sure. So, and you can, you can't teach people to be kind, but you can teach people to be smarter and evaluate the business or the analytics a little bit different. And, but we have an awesome team here. We've got a great operational team too. The front service staff here at the hotel is just amazing. Everyone that I meet, all the newbies, right? We've had a lot of new hires in the last couple months. We hit it out of the park. They're just so friendly to the guests, and they want to be here. You have to be kind, to be in the entertainment business and really have a smile. You really have to want to get up and do your job.
Right. All right. I want to go back to the marketing thing for a second. What are people responding to now? And is it any different than it was back at the beginning of 2020?
Top of mind comes QR codes, which is kind of funny, but I tried to make them work like 10 years ago.
Right.
When you had to actually download the QR code app to be able to read it. And then the iPhones and the other, they actually made it so that it just automatically picks up with the camera. But I think that that's something that the pandemic had taught guests, like through menus and things like that. And we're using that in a lot of our marketing. We do events with Bethel Woods up at the Catskills. And we put these QR codes on these large guitars, and we really got positive. One thing is, you can change the message very quickly, and people know how to do it now.
Right.
So that's been very cool. And then definitely mobile. Our mobile app, you can do almost anything. You can read your mailers on our mobile app. You can check your point balances, what you've earned, what your card level is, all on the mobile app. So that's been really big for us too.
That's interesting. So the way that people are connecting with you has changed, but what about how you connect with them through the messaging you're giving them? Is it still kind of the same thing? Are we going back to just basic human needs, or have things changed and now people are receptive to different messaging once they're looking at it on their phone?
Yeah, I think that they are more receptive. In fact, we're going to open up a new property in Hudson Valley. And the thoughts are that we may only do electronic. I know that Anthony asked about, we're still doing mailings. We're actually going to test in that property how we just communicate with SMS. So cell phone will definitely be needed when you sign up for a card, and e-blast. And I think that people like it faster, quicker. Although our website is growing with building content and stuff so that you can be found easier, through Google and things like that.
So I have two questions. One, do you have anyone that's a big player for you that doesn't have a cell phone? Like an older person that you have to go knock on his door?
They have a cell phone. It's just this big. Yeah.
Whether they answer it or not, or whether they text you back or not is one thing.
And also of all the brands out there, and we know there's many, many, many brands. Why Hyatt? Why did you guys, I know we talked about it a little bit in the beginning, but why did you focus on Hyatt Regency when there's a lot of brands out there?
Multiple reasons. So I think the luxury brand, their culture, they've been tremendous to work with. They came with a few recommended team members that we were able to acquire, and that's been awesome. But also Hyatt did not have a brand in New York City here. And so that was really good. And plus we wanted variety in our platforms across all of Genting. So, we have a Hilton in Miami and then also in Bimini. Both of those are Hilton properties. And then we know that Resorts World Las Vegas is 3 different levels of the Hilton. So Hyatt was new to the brand. Plus from a marketer standpoint, I have to look at the connectivity. So, the Regency and that club was great for the high-end players. And then also, they feed us through their loyalty program.
Right.
Everyone knows the brand, the recognition. We connect directly through our app to make reservations. And, and the group business also, with being from JFK, so close to the airport, the group business is something, the high-end corporate business is something that we were looking to add to our portfolio.
And are you starting to get group business? I mean, you're starting to see a little bit of it?
We are. So, it's not uncommon if you would be walking out of your room and walking to a hockey player or all those visiting teams. Things like that will be staying at our hotel.
Wow.
Oh, that's nice.
That is really nice. I like the idea of partnering with a different brand as well, because now you're able to dip into massive databases for 2 big hospitality companies and probably get those players to experience all the different properties that way, right?
Sure, absolutely. I mean, our database here sits at 2 million. And, we were very supportive in opening up Resorts World Las Vegas. And when you're opening up a brand new property that doesn't have a database, it's nice when you can go to your sister property and get support that way.
Yeah. And I also happen to be a big fan of Mark Koplamazian, the CEO of Hyatt. I think he's an incredible professional that during his tenure has really transformed Hyatt into one of the most forward-thinking companies.
Is he a big fan of yours, Glenn?
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, I did see him in May, and I tried to get him onto the show, but I don't think he likes doing these kinds of things.
Yeah. Well, tell him you know me.
That's why he won't come on the show. But I was trying to spare your feelings.
But you know what? As I'm sitting here and I'm thinking of all the things you can do, if you get off the airplane,
right,
you come here, you can gamble, you can go to Rockaway, you can take the ferry, you can go to New York City, you can go to Broadway. Literally, I would love to I would love to do a commercial. I would love for somebody to just say, Anthony, go do a commercial about New York City and about everything that's happening in New York City. And I would literally start at JFK. I would walk here and say, look how close you are. You're right near Broadway. You're right near the ocean. You can go surfing. You can see a Broadway play and you can gamble all in the same day. And without traveling and without it feeling like you're running around. Like you could literally wake up in the morning, do some gambling, go surfing, go to a Broadway play, have an amazing dinner, and get on your plane the next morning.
And basically just take the A subway line the entire time.
No, we want to stay off the A. We want to take the ferry. The A subway, for those people that don't know, the A subway line is the longest
here,
subway.
but it's right here.
wonderful. It's a wonderful subway line, but it's the longest subway line in the system. So I took it once from where I live into the city.
Yeah, it's
And
like
it
an
is an hour.
An
I
hour
can
and
get
a
to
half.
Washington D.C. quicker. So the A is it's a great line. It's just it goes all the way through up to the Bronx. So it's a long line.
Yeah, I used to take it though when I lived in Park Slope. I would take the F to the A and then take it out here to JFK. So I found it very convenient, Anthony.
It is convenient.
Yes, and I think it's probably something that also helps, besides being a great property, for staff that might not have cars, because New York City is not a very car-focused city. Although we have a lot of cars, we have a lot more people. It's a great way for them to just be able to get to work on the subway, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean it's definitely, especially there's some folks in New York don't have cars, so
Yep.
the A may take you a little bit if you're traveling from a long distance, but to get here from Staten Island, people have cars in Staten Island, but it's very, very quick. And even North Jersey, it's very easy to get here.
So Staten Island is part of New York City?
Depending on the time of day.
I just don't understand why people would get in their cars and sit on the Atlantic City Expressway for hours and hours and hours when you have.
Well, I don't understand why people would move all the way out to the Hamptons or Long Island when you can live in Queens and, right near the beach and you have the same amenities. So I don't understand. I don't understand people.
Because I moved from Brooklyn to Long Island for a backyard.
It's amazing how you always throw when you lived in Brooklyn.
Because honestly, Anthony, I just feel sad that I don't anymore. And I used to be cool back then. So I'm reliving the glory days.
I'm about to get a t-shirt that says Brooklyn for life. I saw that somewhere and I literally went to order it last night and I fell asleep. But Brooklyn for life, baby. I don't know if you're allowed to wear that shirt because I was born in Brooklyn.
We love Brooklyn. I mean, Brooklyn is literally our second market, our largest.
It's the fifth largest
Yeah.
city in the country.
So we go, our biggest market demographics is Queens, and then our second is
Right.
Brooklyn, and we love Brooklyn.
I think I learned that fact from the beginning credits of Welcome Back.
The Cotter. It's big signs that welcome to Brooklyn. It's true. Oh man, we're old. We're old. But Queens has more nationalities than any other city in the country. See all these facts. You tune in to No Vacancy every single day at noon,
right.
unless Glenn screws up and we go at 10. Then you'll learn all these little facts. What other little facts did I learn, Glenn?
What did you learn today?
I learned that the president of Hyatt doesn't like you.
No, it's not that he doesn't like me.
He doesn't know you exist.
No, I introduced myself to him, so he knows I exist. Whether or not he decided to retain that memory, that's only for him. But I love what Hyatt is doing, and I will tell you, I think it's great that you partnered with those folks. This is an absolutely beautiful property. Before we wrap up, I do want to acknowledge what a great looking property it is. You guys could see we're in a beautiful suite over here. You've got a large complement of suites here, which plays well both for the group business. I understand there's a lot of wedding parties that come here because there's so many great venues in the area, for example. And look at that. So look at that view over there. A little cloudy day over here, but it's pretty cool. Yeah, show hopefully we can see the city, because you can see out the other window the entire city's skyline over there in the distance, which looks absolutely incredible. So mostly clouds.
I can see my car from here.
Could you lower the camera a little bit? Lower it. There we go. That's the city hidden behind clouds there. There's lots of tall buildings that you can't see here right now. So before we wrap up, is there anything else that you think that we need to cover?
I think that we did pretty well. I mean, it's just there's 400 rooms.
Look at this room.
The luxury is just unbelievable. It's modern and very, very clean.
Yeah,
The beds and the pillows are amazing.
That's why I'm so well rested.
Hi.
Yeah, that's why I'm so well rested today, because that bed.
We have fans today.
What is that?
We have fans.
Yeah, the sleep experience was absolutely fantastic. All right, Anthony, got any more questions, or should we just give her a chance for a good shameless plug and get out of here?
Shameless plug.
All right, Darlene, it is out to you. You have the power within you to plug anything you'd like, from yourself, the company, to, I don't know, the Popeyes downstairs. Whatever you want. Go for it.
So I guess we talked a little bit more about the brand and the Stay Fabulous campaign, and it's just very whimsical. This is definitely the adult entertainment capita of the world. So please come visit us and stay at Hyatt Regency at JFK Resorts World, New York City.
How long did it take you to memorize the name of the hotel?
You know, I have to, if you have to say it 5 times in a row, it's like very, very
Hyatt
difficult,
Regency at Resorts World at JFK in New York City. Did I
Wow.
say it?
You said something. I don't know if it was the right words in the right
you got
order.
all the words, maybe not in the right order, but you got all the words in. So thank you. Yes. So just come for your entertainment experience. It's really awesome. And I promise everyone would have a great time.
Yes, I know. I've had a great time. Although I did have that milkshake yesterday, which I didn't need, but I'm glad I had. All right, Darlene, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate you.
Thank you both.
All right, just hang out. We'll wrap up really quick. Anthony, that was really a lot of fun today, wasn't it?
That was. So let's talk about her. She's off camera.
I know, and it's not like she's right there.
Yeah,
so,
let's talk about it.
yeah. All right. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Of course, get our audio version of the podcast. We already know most of you are doing that, right? You're back to work. You're doing stuff. It's important for you to join us every single day at your leisure. That's why we're on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play, wherever you get your shows. From all those big sites, the most obscure ones, well, we are there. If you want to talk to us, he's at Anthony Hotels, and I am, of course, at Traveling Glenn. Anthony, any final thoughts?
I love you, brother.
I love you too. All right, everybody, remember, we got one life, so blaze on, and
Be kind to yourself.
we'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks for being here. And that is the wrong graphic. That is the right graphic.
I think you talked over me when I said be kind to yourself.